Hi, how's everybody doing today? This is Sean, and back here with another video. I wanted to do a response video because I seen a little short clip of Nikolai from Intuitive Tennis, and he lives apparently over by one of the bigger malls in America, in Florida too. So it's pretty big. That's all. It's called Sawgrass Mall, I believe that's what it's called. And they had just opened up a pickleball store. So pickleball is here to stay, folks, and it's more popular than tennis. And I want to explain something to you about tennis. And there's always been a downfall of tennis, and this is why they have problems getting people and younger people to play tennis. Now, when I was growing up in the 80s, I started playing tennis around 84, 85, you know, and when I was growing up, I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida, and they had quite a few public courts, tennis courts, and they also had private clubs. Now, the guys and ladies would practice at these public courts, and the majority of them were very snobby jerks, okay? Very snobby people. So tennis is associated with snobby, rich people, and those people make people's life hard on the outside, and they make it hard for people to learn the game of tennis, because I didn't have any coaches or nothing like that teaching me how to play tennis. I had to learn myself until I started working at the Ocean Racket Club, and that was around 88, 89, something around there. But because I was pretty decent at tennis and I was a good athlete, my coach at the school, Port Orange, Coach Tyner, taught me. And then when I got to the Ocean Racket Club, my good friend Rick Bowerson took me under his wing and showed me how to go, about grips and all that different stuff, and taught me how to play. So I grew up, my mom worked real hard, and she had a little cleaning business on the side, and she was doing pretty good. And then she was out at the airport one time, and she was cleaning out there, and she also worked at Hertz Rental, and she fell and hit her head, and it caused her to have a blood clot on her brain, so she couldn't work anymore. So for like 4 or 5 years, we were struggling, but my grandmother had pension because she lived with us too, and she worked for the Treasury Department in Philadelphia. So she had a pretty good pension. And then my grandfather worked at Local 30 Roofing for 42 years, and he had a pretty decent living. So I grew up, when I first got down to Florida, we were poor, we didn't have much. I mean, I literally had play shoes that had holes in them. I wore shirts that had play shirts that had holes in them. But I had nice things that, decent clothes to wear at school. So I grew up poor, and I grew up in, when I first moved to Florida, I was in a predominantly dark area, like a lot of black people. And as soon as I got to there, they invited us to the church. They were real nice to us. Everybody was cool. I lived in a nice community. Then we went to, like I said, the Daytona Beach. So I grew up around a variety of different people. And then when I was working at the Ocean's Racket Club, there were millionaires there. There was very wealthy people. And there was one guy there that nobody knew how much money this man had, but he was on the stock market from 1929 on up to present time. And he had millions and millions of dollars. And at the time, he was like 81 or 82, and we used to have clay courts where we played at. And nobody would play tennis with him. And as my job as the assistant pro there, he's a member, so he has to be able to play, and nobody would play tennis with him because he couldn't move, and he was slow, and he would if you get the ball to him, you can hit it. So one of my jobs in the morning was to play doubles with this guy, and you're going to get bagelled almost every time you play, except for my serve, and I wasn't allowed to, go all out because they were older players, and unless there was some of the 5-0 players would come in there that were like, the champs of the league champs and stuff like that. They also played out there, so sometimes I'd get a chance to play, with them, because it was a challenge board, and you would just challenge in. So that's how that worked out. So I ended up learning how to play tennis with a variety of different people, and this guy took a liking to me, and every Christmas he'd give me $20, for a gift, give me a Christmas card, and all the other people he'd give them like $5, and some people he didn't give no money to because they were mean to him. And that's what's going on. Pickleball is affordable, okay? It's easier to play and everybody can do it. Okay, there's not a lot of athleticism into this game. I mean, if you can, pick up the thing and bat it over the net, it's short. The courts are shorter. Everything's better. But now you're going to have problems with people like this fella here, where it literally says on the gate, no dogs on the tennis courts or anything like that. So you're going to have these kind of people coming out with their animals, playing pickleball, making a big thing out of it. Like they're out here partying and whatever. Like like you're at the some kind of a racetrack function or something. Like you're out there watching the races or something. Which I don't care what people do, because it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I grew up in areas where in Daytona Beach, when you're playing tennis, there's car accidents happening, there's all kinds of stuff going on around you, so I was always able to block that stuff out. But I'm just telling you, I can foresee this shit. There's going to be videos posted on YouTube, people, tennis players and pickleball people getting into it because of their dogs and all this other stuff. So my friend Nikolai was like, because it concerns them, because that's how they make a living, these guys. They have devoted their whole life to the game of tennis and to teach it to other people. But if nobody's going to play it or interested in it, playing it, then they won't have a job, and that's scary stuff. But the reason why I'm telling you, because of what the same folks in the 80s are now adults and they raise their kids. So a lot of them are just snobby jerks, and that's why I like this one guy. He's a younger fella, Winston Dew. He doesn't seem like that type of person, and he's got, they go and play on the courts, public courts, and I think they might have access to a private facility, because I saw one of the tournaments that he had. It was actually, they had a little stadium seat for people to sit and watch a match. So, and I want to see young people play tennis. I would like to see us, have a good tennis team to play in the Olympics and stuff like that. But just like they went to Serena Williams, there's a lot of racism at these clubs. These people are snobby jerks. They didn't want other people coming into tennis because they're still playing with one-handed backhands and all this other shit. Most of them were still playing with wooden racket. I mean, in the early 80s. And then, whatever Jimmy Connors or John McEnroe was playing with, they were playing with them. And then you've got the same kind of people that are around today, because I post videos showing you that, because I got diabetes too, and I have disability. I've had major surgeries. Most people wouldn't even try to do what I'm doing right now to come out here and play tennis. But since I was watching the tennis channels and doing what I can do, I started the channel 6 months ago. I've lost like 35 pounds, and I was playing with crappy, shitty rackets that I literally got at Goodwill with bad strings in them and all that other stuff, So there are people on YouTube that play tennis every single day with the best technology out there, and they still can't get me past the level because they don't know how to play the game correctly, and they don't know strategies, and they keep making the same mistakes over and over again because they're snobby people and they have egos. Just like the guy that was trying to troll my channel, he lost the other day because he's predictable. And when you're learning how to play tennis and training inside places that have indoor courts, there's no kind of resistance against your serve or there's no elements. You're not playing against elements. So when you go in and play in court on courts outside or on clay or something, it's like a whole different world out here. So that's another thing. So the reason why tennis is going to go down really bad in the near future is because these snobby jackasses that were in the 80s have children, and their children are worse than they were. And a lot of them are racist and bigots and everything else. They don't want certain people at their clubs, their private clubs and all that stuff. It's disgusting. And then that's why you got sport, other games coming along to replace it. And when I was growing up, they had the same problem with racquetball, because remember racquetball courts popping up everywhere. Everybody was playing racquetball. It was cheap to play. All you needed was a little racket and a couple racket balls, and there's courts everywhere. There's 4-wall, 5-wall. I used to go play out at Amarillo a few times a week with my friends. And that's another story, let me tell you. Okay, in like 1988, 89, I went to University of Florida to visit my friends that graduated a year before me. They were up there, and I was deciding what school I was going to go to if I was to go to college. And me and my friends went up there on the weekend, and we're playing at a tennis court that was outside for the students, and it was open to the public. And it happened to be a little windy that day, so My friend opened up the brand new tennis balls, put the, like how on that bench right there, like how the bench is there, put the empty can on there and put a towel on it. And as we're playing, the wind blew it off, and there was people playing behind us. There was a fence like there is here behind the camera, and there were people playing behind us. And these guys were yelling and screaming at my friend, saying shit to him, real richy snobby assholes. They didn't work at the University of Florida. They weren't students at the University of Florida. They were people that lived in this little neighborhood that were rich people, and they decided that they were going to come down where people were actually paying at the time they were paying $50,000 or more to go to college there. And they have, these people had no chips in the game, and they're not ever going to, go there or anything. They already graduated, and they just think they're entitled to everything, and that's. It was so bad with these. We almost got into a fight with them. We're like 18. I was like 18 at the time, and these dudes were in their 40s and stuff. And the security, campus security came and told them they had to leave, and they trespassed these guys because they're not going to tell the student that they got to leave because their parents are paying $50,000 for them to go to college out there, and plus we weren't bothering anybody. But these are the kind of people that are in tennis. And this is why people don't play tennis, because they don't want to be around snobby jackasses that want to cause them problems, or people that are just mean in general and found a game that they're decent at, so they can go. They only play tennis so they can rub it in other people's faces, and they're the worst people to lose against. I've beaten a lot of them, and that's the best part about playing people like that. When you beat them, they'll break their $300 tennis rackets, they'll destroy their shit, and you just sit back and like, wow. What a spoiled little rotten punk to do that to your equipment that most people can't even afford to buy. So speaking about that, Nathan, hey buddy, and my friend Stefan, I got my new racket today. It is used, brand new. These are like $300 almost, like $250, $229, and unstrung. Some people will string them on the internet, but this is the Pure Drive 110. And it weighs like 10 ounces. It's much bigger than my other racket. My other racket was 100 square inches, and then the profiles were 95. So man, I just come out here and I started, hit a few before I before I turned the camera on, hit a few over the net, and boy, what a feeling this racket has, man. It's unreal. And then the person who had it before me, got some decent string in it, so it's hybrid string. It looks like they have the natural gut, 16 gauge natural gut, and then it looks like they have some type of I'm not sure what company it is, but some type of top spin that's got niches in the strings too, because I thought at first it was from the person hitting with it, but there's actually niches in the string to hold the ball. So I don't know what kind of string that is, but it is gonna be awesome. These strings are probably gonna break pretty soon. Like I said, I bought it off eBay, and I got it for, he wanted $80 for it, plus it was like $15 shipping. So I offered him $50 because I saw some other fella that offered me one, the same racket, and it was about the same shipping. So I offered him $50. So, and he ended up taking it, and I got this for like $75, and it's nice. It's got the nice handle on it. Everything's pretty nice. There's a couple of nicks on it here and there, but what I'm looking for is maybe just make sure the grommets aren't messed up, which they aren't, and then make sure there's no cracks in the frame, because if you try to get the racket restrung again, it'll just blow right up. So I got one more coming that I got for around the same price, and then the only difference between that one is it's actually cleaner. It's nice and clean, but I just got to put a new wrap on it. It's got the Toro wrap on it. And I usually, sometimes I play with wraps, but most of the time, I'll just play with the racket the way it came with that grip on there. In the summertime, you have to get a wrap around, on your racket in the summer down here in Florida. So that's what's going on with pickleball, and that's what's going on with tennis. And that happened before in the 80s and 90s, like I said, with racquetball. So this is nothing new to me. I've already seen this, only this time pickleball is going to be worse because, like I say, people just don't give a shit. They're gonna bring out their fucking dogs and do all kinds of stuff. They don't have no respect for anybody, and it makes it harder on everybody. But I ignore it. As long as I have a rule, as long as no one bothers me or my family, my friends, I let them do whatever they want to do, within reason, if they're not killing people and stuff like that. So I learned that a long time ago. Just stay out of stuff. Because mental people are psycho now, and they're messed up, and I ain't trying to get into a brawl with people because of a game. So The people that are playing tennis that are jerk-offs and causing problems to people, just better realize you better stop doing it, because you know you're not going to have tennis courts to play on. So I'm going to make another video of me practicing, but right now, yeah, I'm just making sure if it was recorded. I just wanted to let you know about that. It's a phase that people are going to be going through. I mean, literally, I could go to Goodwill and get pickleball paddles and the balls and everything for about $15, and then, at night these courts are packed with people playing pickleball. And like I said, it's for people that can't move too, so let's everybody get exercise. And I seen McEnroe and all these old tennis players are pushing this thing. So, you know, it's being pushed for a reason, folks. You might be, we might, in another 10 years, we might, you know, tennis might be going the way of, you know, blade, what is that? The skates, the blades that people used to roll around with the skates. So, or the way of MySpace. I highly doubt it'll get to that point, because there's a lot of money in these tournaments, and as long as people are playing, you know, paying to go to see the tournaments, we're always going to have tennis. But there's going to be, if you're in a tennis community, and you better speak up in your city councils and stuff, because they could come and knock these courts down or make them into pickleball courts, and you won't have a place to play tennis. So you have to have a voice in this and make sure that that doesn't happen. Okay, I'm not worried about it here, because like the people play pickleball with these courts the way they are. Plus, there's a baseball field right behind me, like literally. So, and this has been here for quite some time. So, I'm gonna make a different video of me hitting some balls with this. I just wanted to just make this little short announcement and make a response video to Nikolai, because I know it's probably scary, dude, that, you know, because you're teaching, and you may there may be a lot of people stop playing, because, as I say, pickleball is so easy to play. I have all my friends that play in the morning that I play tennis with. They're in their late 70s and stuff like that, and they're awesome people, and they are starting to play pickleball because it's easier for them. Although most of them said they'll never stop playing tennis, but it's just something to do on a Saturday, because Monday through Friday they do the tennis. And then tomorrow, Ashley and I are going to come down here and play tennis, and maybe we can record some of the stuff so I can meet you, so I can meet some of my friends that I play tennis with that are super nice people. They're an exception to the rule, okay? So they're not snobby. They're really nice people, and I enjoy being around them. And that's all I'm saying. If you have to start treating people with respect, or you're not going to have facilities to play tennis in, or even clubs, because these private clubs will fold like a cheap card table. If there's no money coming in there, what are they going to do? They can't function. There won't be no money for them to do business. Nobody be playing tennis. Everybody be playing pickleball. So they'll turn the tennis clubs into pickleball tournament places. So you got to speak up, folks. You got to be civilized about stuff. But if you don't speak up for something, and you don't stand for something, you're always going to fall for anything.